Buying a Mac in 2024 is like trying to solve a labyrinth while being blindfolded. Apple calls every single Mac it makes the best ever, and this is so confusing to new buyers. So I'm about to break down all the M4 Macs Apple sells right now. We'll get real about which M4 MacBook you need, so you don't have to overpay for power you will never use or skimp on what you actually need. So M4 chips, we're talking three main options here: the base M4, M4 Pro, and M4 Max. But here's where Apple throws in the curveball. Two of these, the Pro and Max, have versions with extra CPU and GPU cores. You'd think, well, cool, more options. But no, not all these three chips are available on all models. Confused yet? Okay, the base M4 MacBook Pro is got nearly all the latest upgrades, but pulls back a bit on power. But even then, does it? Especially with its 16 gigs of memory by default. Hear me out. You've got the new 1000 nit display, which is bright enough to look great anywhere. The FaceTime camera is upgraded. Thunderbolt 4 ports are there. And then there is the speaker setup. It's the full package for just $1,600. Honestly, not a bad price for all that, but know what you're getting: a maxed out MacBook Air in disguise. It's got more juice than the Air, fixing most of its limitations, but still isn't the fully loaded Pro model. It's mostly for everyday work with enough headroom to tackle occasional heavy tasks if you need it. And here's something different: no bin versions of the M4 here. Usually Apple has lower core versions, but either they are nailing the manufacturing on the base M4s or decided to scale down some M4 Pros to fill that gap. Who's this laptop for? If you're not chasing extreme performance but want a great experience across the board, this could be perfect. Light work, absolutely. Type in documents, simple video edits, quick color grading. It's also surprisingly capable for larger 4K projects if you tweak preview settings for optimized performance. And watching shows or listening to music is a treat on this display and with these speakers. That said, don't upgrade if you're sitting on an M1 Pro or M2 Pro already. You probably won't feel the difference enough to justify it. But if you've got a MacBook Air, even the latest one, this is where you'll see the real step up, exactly where you'd appreciate it. And one more word about the memory: the base model comes with 16 gigs of RAM, and yeah, you can upgrade to 24 gigs for $200. Then if you're feeling really generous, you can go up to 32 gigs for another $200, but don't. You'd be shelling out a whopping $2,000 just to get there, which is the same price as the base M4 Pro model that already includes 24 gigs of RAM and a beefier chip. And let's not forget storage. You start with 512 gigs, which honestly is decent for most. If you want more, get ready to pay up. It's another $200 for 1 terabyte and $400 more if you are after 2 terabytes, but listen, save yourself the cash. Get an external SSD for a fraction of that price, and boom, you've got the same storage without draining your wallet. Now, what even this base Mac would be great at is file management. In my line of work, that's like 15% of all I do. However, sometimes the videos I shoot or script files get damaged or corrupted. Can happen while uploading them, downloading, or just while saving the files to the external SSD. But I found a good solution. Want to share? Repair It, the sponsor of today's video. This tool has been in my arsenal for a while and has proven its worth many times. Repair It works with almost everything: videos, photos, documents, audio, and even email files. Whether you're recovering memories from a broken SD card or fixing a corrupted work file, Repair It has you covered. Even if you're not tech savvy, you will have no trouble navigating the tool. Upload the file, hit repair, and let the software do the heavy lifting. I can even repair multiple files at once. This is a massive time saver for anyone managing a large volume of data. And with the latest update, Repair It can repair GoPro gyroscope data. Also, Repair It extracts text and media from damaged PPTX files and rewrites them into brand new functional presentation. And Repair It now supports HEIC and BRAW formats, along with iWork files like Keynote and Pages. Thanks to advanced algorithms, Repair It has a 99.5% recovery success rate. It also offers a preview option so you can check the repaired file before saving it. Want to share? Repair It is versatile, efficient, and packed with innovative features that make file repair simple and accessible. I will leave a link in the description. Be sure to try it out. For $2,000, you're looking at the binned 14-inch M4 Pro, which is only available in this size and has 12 CPU cores, 16 GPU cores, and 24 gigs of RAM. And honestly, I don't need a crystal ball to tell you this model is probably going to fly off the shelves. It's packing plenty of power power for most workflows, with all the features you'd expect, a pretty reasonable price. But if the base M3 MacBook Pro taught me anything last year, yeah, it's to stay a little skeptical. That Bend M4 Pro chip is seriously impressive. I've been using it as my main laptop, running it through everything from editing videos to photos, it just flies. Definitely snappier than the M3 Pro, and honestly, it's a perfect fit for anyone doing pro work that's a little more on the standard side of the scale. Like for super basic pro tasks, the regular M4 might cut it, but this chip handles 4K video editing no problem. Batch exporting high-res photos super fast, and having 24 gigs of memory really makes a noticeable difference, especially with heavy projects. I'm telling you, in video editing alone, I'm seeing faster renders, and it still multitasks smoothly without any annoying lag or those dreaded spinning beach balls. So do you need to go all in on the unbend M4 Pro, or is the base M4 Pro enough? Here's the scoop. The unbend model gives you 14 CPU cores and 20 GPU cores, still with the same 24 gigs of memory. It's a $200 upgrade, and this time it might actually be worth it. Those 2 extra CPU cores and 4 extra GPU cores are the biggest bump we've seen since the M2 Pro. Back then, you only got an extra 3 GPU cores and 2 more CPU cores, so for $200, you are getting a noticeable jump in performance here. Based on what I've seen with the Bend M4 Pro, this upgrade could really be worth the extra cash if you need that extra edge. And that unbend M4 Pro is actually the base chip for the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which starts at $2,650. And I'll just say this, as someone who's spent years with a 16-inch model, it's a bit too big. If you are on the go a lot, that thing can be a bit too big to just toss in a backpack, and you feel that weight difference. But for sitting down to work or even just watching movies, that larger display and upgraded speakers are top-notch. On the 14-inch, things can feel a little tight and cramped by comparison, but get used to it pretty fast. Now, about upgrading the memory, yeah, I'm sticking to my guns here. It's not worth it. Both the bend and unbend M4 Pro only let you jump straight to 48 gigs, and that will set you back $400. That's a steep price. And if you're also upgrading the chip along with the memory, you're looking at a total around $2,600. That's not even factoring in the SSD upgrades, by the way. Those options go up to 4 terabytes, and that's a $1,000 upgrade. So you already know where I'm going with this. External SSDs are just a better deal. So just to sum up what we already know, the base M4 14-inch is perfect for moderate users who sometimes dip into heavier tasks. The Bend M4 Pro is great for heavy users who still know their limits, and the unbend M4 Pro, whether on the 14 or 16 inches, is some of the best value you'll get if you're looking for power without breaking the bank. Memory and SSD upgrades are still pretty hard to justify when there are cheaper ways to get similar results. All that's left is the M4 Max chip. This one also has bend and unbend versions, and you can grab either one on both the 14 and 16-inch model. The bend version gives you 14 CPU cores and a whopping 32 GPU cores, paired with 36 gigs of unified memory. And no memory upgrades on this one. You are locked at 36 gigs for life, so if you're aiming for 48, 64, even 128 gigs, you will have to go for the unbend M4 Max. Now let's be real, the bend M4 Max has enough power to handle almost anything you throw at it. The M4 Pro already delivers plenty of muscle, and the Max pretty much doubles that, especially in GPU performance. Personally, I can't imagine needing all that power, but if you are a software dev working with AI models or deep into game development and ray tracing, the M4 Max is calling your name. The Max chips are truly meant for high-level professionals, unless you're doing something seriously complex. It's overkill, especially on a 14-inch model. And here's something to consider: thermals. The M4 Max runs hot, no matter what Apple's marketing says. I have a hunch even the base M4 Max might feel constrained by the cooling in the 14-inch. So if you go with the M4 Max in a smaller model, be prepared for a hotter, potentially noisier laptop. And that doesn't really scream MacBook experience to me. But let's say you are a power user, a true editing beast, and you need every bit of power you can get. For $300, you can step up to the unbent M4 Max, which gives you 16 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores, and starts at 48 gigs of unified memory. So you're not just adding cores, you're getting an extra 12 gigs of memory over the bent version, which honestly sounds like a pretty solid deal. But fair warning, the 14-inch with this setup will set you back $3,700, and on the 16-inch, you're looking at $4,000. At this point, we're talking about the money is no object zone, and if I'm being real, it might make more sense to hold out for the next Mac Studio with the M4 Ultra. And like I said earlier, with the unbent M4 Max, you've got access to those mind-boggling 64 or even 128 gigs of RAM. It's totally overkill for just about any pro user, but if you are eyeing this setup, you probably know exactly why you need it. And the unbent M4 Max is also the only way to get that maxed out 8TB SSD. Now, just to put things in perspective, the entry-level M4 MacBook Pro starts at $1,600, while the fully loaded 16-inch caps out at $7,350. Yeah, that's almost 5 times the price. If you're wondering which model and chip combo makes the most sense, here's my golden rule. Stick with the base version. For 14-inch, go for the bent M4 Pro, skip the unbent M4 Pro, and absolutely any version of the M4 Max. And on the 16-inch, stick to the base unbent M4 Pro. Only, and I mean only, if you're sure you need that extra power, go for the M4 Max in whatever config you want. Now, with chips and memory squared away, let's talk about the final two choices: nano texture glass and color. Let's start with the easy one, colors. You've got two options, silver and space black. Personally, I'm a silver guy. It's the classic MacBook look, fits in anywhere, and just feels timeless. Space black though, it's a whole different mood. Looks fantastic, but it's a fingerprint magnet. Every bit of dust, every little scuff is going to show up more. So if you are all about that pristine look, silver is your best bet. But if you want the new bold look and don't mind a few marks, go for space black. Now, the nano texture glass is a $150 upgrade on all MacBook Pros, even the cheapest M4 14-inch. And this one's a bit controversial. Unless you're working with color at a professional level and reflections drive you crazy, you can probably skip this upgrade. Nano texture basically cuts down reflections, but it also softens the screen a bit. It can look a bit hazy and the contrast is a little muted. It's just physics, no way around it. So yeah, picking the right MacBook config isn't a walk in the park. There are tons of options and plenty of spots where you can make a costly mistake. But hey, that's what we are here for. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.